Hungary's Prime Minister Viktor Orban reportedly conveyed to two Italian newspapers that his party Fidesz is prepared to join the European conservatives and reformists. Orban hinted at the possibility of Fidesz aligning with ECR in the European Parliament in interviews with La Repubblica and La Stampa on Thursday, Feb 1st. With just 5 months left until the European elections, Brussels is anticipating a significant right-wing shift in EU politics. The European conservatives and reformists and Identity and Democracy, both anti-establishment right-wing blocs, are expected to experience substantial growth.
Welcome to TFIGlobal, the antidote to mass delusion.
However, Fidesz, the Hungarian ruling party, currently remains unaffiliated, despite criticism from leaders of the 27 EU member states regarding Hungarian sovereignty, particularly concerning Ukraine. There seems to be a shift in perception, with some politicians recognizing the potential benefits of Fidesz as a prospective partner. Projections indicate that Identity and Democracy is poised to surpass the European conservatives and reformists and become the third largest group in the European Parliament. A potential merger between ECR and ID could elevate conservatives to a leading position in Brussels. Despite critics portraying Fidesz as isolated in Europe, it is becoming evident that both conservative groups would welcome it into their alliance. For almost 2 decades, Fidesz belonged to the center-right European People's Party, the dominant force in Brussels. However, in 2021, Fidesz left the EPP amid expulsion threat, a move not surprising considering the widening gap between the consistently EU-critical Orban government and its more Euro-establishment counterpart. As a new legislative term approaches, non-populist conservatives are reconsidering their stance on Fidesz. The significance is underscored by Fidesz's projected win of 14 seats out of Hungary's 21, contributing a substantial delegation to the EU Parliament. In light of this, conservatives seeking dependable allies would be wise to dismiss persistent calls from the left liberal camp to ostracize Fidesz. In a February 1st interview, ID Vice President Gunnar Beck expressed a warm welcome for Orban's Fidesz within the far-right group, stating Fidesz would unquestionably be embraced here in the ID if they decided to seek membership. Beck conveyed this sentiment to Euractiv, highlighting that ID would be the most fitting home for Fidesz. Jean-Paul Gaurois, the leader of the Le Pen's National Rally delegation in the European Parliament and also a part of ID, echoed this sentiment, expressing strong support for Fidesz's inclusion. He emphasized the robust personal ties between Viktor Orban and Marinelepen, stating, "We naturally hope that they will join the group." The enthusiasm is understandable, as Fidesz's participation would significantly elevate ID's standing post-election. Even in the absence of the Hungarian ruling party, the ID group, comprising major members such as AFD, RN, and Salvini's Lega, is anticipated to secure 98 seats. This projection implies surpassing the ECR, Greens, and Liberals' Renew, securing the position as the third largest group in parliament. With Fidesz contributing 14 seats, ID would come close to matching the Socialists. The European conservatives and reformists would see an enhanced position if Fidesz aligns with them. For ECR, the inclusion of Fidesz's 14 seats could potentially secure them the third position on the podium, surpassing ID. Recent polling places the group at 85 seats, positioning them in 5th place, just below Renew's 86. In terms of political alliances, ECR, home to Meloni's Fratelli d'Italia, and the Polish Law and Justice, appears to be Orban's most logical choice. The alignment between Fidesz and ECR is seen as a seamless fit, covering areas from migration to green policies and the advocacy for sovereignty. A senior ECR official conveyed confidence in the natural alignment of Fidesz with ECR, stating, "I'm convinced that Fidesz joining the ECR would be natural. It belongs to the family of conservative parties. They have strong relations with most of our delegations. Of course, Fidesz has to garner the support of all delegations before joining, but I think they are on the right track. We want Fidesz to join." Historically, a point of hesitation for both sides has been the conflict in Ukraine. ECR members strongly advocate for unwavering support for Ukraine, while Fidesz believes Hungarian taxpayers' funds could be utilized more effectively elsewhere. However, recent developments indicate a potential reconciliation of differences, paving the way for Fidesz to align with the ECR. Hungary not only withdrew its veto on additional funding for Ukraine, albeit with specific demands, but also facilitated the approval of EU accession negotiations with Ukraine by the remaining 26 EU member states. There is speculation that Italian Prime Minister and ECR party president Giorgia Meloni, known for her strong and amicable relationship with Orban, might have played a role in persuading her Hungarian counterpart. Expressing his sentiments in an interview with the French weekly Le Point in December, Viktor Orban stated, "We have great respect for the Italian Prime Minister who heads the ECR. We respect Poland, which is the ECR's other major party. We'd be happy to join the ECR." Orban was referring to Meloni and Poland's conservative party, Law and Justice, which despite its strong support for Ukraine, has previously clashed with Fidesz's stand. Despite PIS's recent challenges, having failed to form a government and returning to opposition after October elections in Poland, there is a clear indication that they would welcome Fidesz into the ECR. Former Prime Minister Mateusz Morawiecki, a prominent figure within PIS, openly expressed this sentiment at a recent news conference stating, "I'm open to Fidesz joining." While some members within the ID align with Fidesz's perspectives on the war, others are more inclined to overlook such differences. Their primary focus is on expanding their numbers, making it challenging for the mainstream to impose a cordon sanitaire against the ID. In the past, left-wing and EPP members have consistently refused cooperation, impeding the ID from securing influential posts, a situation they hope will change after the upcoming June election. The ongoing discussion revolves around a potential major merger between the two right-wing conservative parties in parliament, the ECR and the ID. According to Beck, this topic remains recurrent and is not completely dismissed. A source present at a recent closed-door meeting in Strasbourg revealed to the European Conservative that more concrete negotiations are tentatively planned for mid-March, describing a potential merger as a monumental shift in Brussels' power dynamic. The source emphasized that, numerically alone, such a union could position the new sovereignist bloc at the pinnacle of the European Parliament. Viktor Orban, speaking to Le Point, hinted at the post-election scenario, suggesting that the performance of ID and ECR parties at the ballot box would determine the subsequent cooperation discussion. He emphasized the necessity for collaboration among non-traditional political parties on the right to secure a majority. As per the projections by the ECFR, the EPP is expected to secure 173 seats, a slight decrease from the current 178. If an ECR-ID merger occurs, the combined total would reach 183, and with the inclusion of Fidesz, it could rise to 197, accounting for nearly a third of the entire chamber. Such a formidable presence would likely compel the EPP to align more closely with right-wing policies, prompting their collaboration with conservatives in crucial votes and ensuring a majority of 51%. So will this Hungarian move make the EU waltz to a right-wing rhythm? Let's keep our eyes on the ballot dance floor.